¿Qué pasa, YouTube? 6fthax here. Half for you guys today. Pretty good and close OU Wi-Fi battle I had against Gandy using the newly released Mega Diancie, which is really awesome because I'm really excited to use this and all the recently new released Megas. So if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to dynamic punch that like button down below and let me know how you think Mega Diancie will affect the OU metagame. Do you think it's going to be as good as it was last gen? Do you think it's going to be a lot better than it was last gen? Or do you just think it's going to be like Mega Gardevoir, where it's not really anywhere near as good as it was? So going into this battle, Gandy had a pretty interesting team. Unfortunately, the biggest threat going into this battle is actually Bisharp, a Pokemon you barely ever see in OU, mainly because I have a Landorus and I have literally nothing that wants to switch into a knockoff. And unfortunately for me, of course, he ends up leading off with the Bisharp, and now I have to choose something to switch in and take a knockoff, which unfortunately the best thing I have to take a knockoff is my Keldeo, and I'm Scarfed Keldeo, which means now I can't outspeed the Tapu Koko and I can't outspeed the not the Bisharp, but I can't outspeed the Espeon, which could be a little bit bad for me. So this turn, I'm gonna go straight for the Scald. There's really no reason he should want to stay in here. I was really hoping to potentially burn whatever he maybe wanted to switch into, whether it have been this Espeon or even potentially the Mimikyu. I am still able to get off a really solid amount of damage on the Espeon. However, though, it turns out that he's going to be a dual screen Espeon, and while yes, I may have defog on my Mew, I don't want to switch that in, go for the defog, and then give Bisharp a free +2 in its physical attack, because you guys saw how much damage the knockoff did to my Keldeo already. It did about 40-45%, which means that +2 knockoff into Sucker Punch is just going to annihilate my Keldeo, so I cannot let that happen, which is why I'm just going to stay in here and hopefully try and stall out these turns as I go for the knockoff on his switch into the Kyurem. Turns out that he actually has a Choice Scarf of his own, and that's really good for me because I can switch out here into my Volcarona in hopes that he would go for the Ice Beam, but he actually ends up going for the Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, no Flame Body, but that's fine because I will be able to get off a huge amount of damage here with the Fire Blast. Behind the Light Screen, that's still pretty respectable damage, I do believe so, as he's going to take me out with a second Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, again, no burn with the Flame Body, but that's fine because this does allow me to get a free switch into my Mega Diancie, and even behind the Light Screen, a Moonblast will still be strong enough to knock out this Kyurem Black because there is a good chance that he's running a minus but def nature. Also, Mega Diancie's special attack set is pretty high, and with this being stabbed and super effective, it's more than strong enough to knock out the Kyurem, which is really great because I am managing to start to wear down these turns of the Light Screen and the Reflect. Unfortunately, though, he now gets a free switch back into this Bisharp, which is actually really bad because I have to switch something in to potentially just get knocked out by it, as he makes a really good play here. Goes for the Swords Dance. I honestly thought that he would go for the Iron Head, expecting me to switch, but he did predict me to switch, obviously, and he went for the Swords Dance instead, which was still a very good play on his part, as now I have to choose something to sack off. And honestly, Mew is not going to be doing too much in this battle with him having this Bisharp and him having the Tapu Koko, so I'm going to sack that off so I can get a free switch into my Keldeo here. I will be able to easily live a Sucker Punch and in return knock him out with the Secret Sword or potentially the Hydro Pump, but I actually ended up misclicking here on the Stone Edge, and I'm so happy I did not miss on this incoming Espeon because that would have been really bad for me, considering that he could have then got up his Light Screen again and I would have had to deal with 5 more turns of my attacks only doing half the damage that they normally would be doing. So I'm able to knock out the Espeon. In comes the Tapu Koko. I cannot afford to leave in Keldeo against this Tapu Koko and lose it because Keldeo is really the only thing keeping the Bisharp at bay from just running through me. The main reason I'm not switching into Landorus against the Bisharp is because of Defiance. I'm going to give him a +1 in his attack stat because I'm going to activate Defiant, which boosts the physical attack of Bisharp by 2, and because Intimidate puts him at -1, he'll be up to +1 after the Intimidate. So yeah, Landorus is not essentially the best answer to the Bisharp, as in comes a Sceptile. He ends up going for the Swords Dance, and then he does a Mega Evolve, which I'm thinking, okay, is this like unburdened or something? But no, he ends up Mega Evolving this turn, probably trying to avoid me going for a hidden power ice, because obviously that is 4 times super effective against Mega Sceptile, as where regular Sceptile is only a grass type, which means HP ice will only be 2 times super effective. Luckily though, I do have the Sludge Bomb, which still does a good amount of damage to regular Sceptile or Mega Sceptile, as I'm able to knock him out after living the Dragon Claw. I'm going to switch out here because my Tangrowth is essentially the only thing I have to deal with Tapu Koko at this point, and I'm very positive he's not going to pull a double switch here, potentially risking me staying in and going for a knockoff or even an Earthquake, predicting his switch into the Bisharp, but I don't have Earthquake on this Tangrowth, unfortunately. So he ends up going for the Swords Dance here, as he's going to go for the Shadow Claw as opposed to the Play Rough, probably not wanting to miss, which does make sense considering that he will be able to take any one attack from my Landers because I have not broken its disguise yet. I was thinking about maybe getting up Stealth Rocks here, but honestly, being aggressive against this Mimikyu is the best thing I can do, and hopefully for some reason he doesn't have the Play Rough, and that means I can live another Shadow Claw. But of course he does have Play Rough, and he's going to be able to just annihilate my Landers here, which is actually kind of annoying because now I have to bring in my Keldeo, and at the amount of HP that the Mimikyu is at, I have to rely on hitting a Hydro Pump. Not to mention that he can also potentially crit me with this Shadow Sneak, which I think may be strong enough to knock me out, but I don't get critted, and I have to go for the Hydro Pump here. Keldeo is well trained, however, and I'm going to be able to knock out the Mimikyu. Unfortunately, at this low amount of HP, I don't think I can take a Sucker Punch from the Bisharp, and he's down to Bisharp and Tapu Koko while I have Keldeo, Tangrowth, and my Mega Diancie. So I really have no other choice but to just sack off my Keldeo here because it's not going to live a hit from the Bisharp regardless, which means I have to bring in my Tangrowth here and hope that he goes for the U-turn as I try to switch back into my Diancie. If he goes for the Thunderbolt here, predicting me to switch into Diancie, he basically just wins the battle because I don't have Earthquake or Brick Break on Tangrowth, which, I mean, they don't run Brick Break, but I don't have a move to hit the Bisharp for any type of super effective damage. And then if he knocks off my Assault Vest, I'm not really going to be able to deal with Tapu Koko as well with my Tangrowth. Thankfully though, he does go for the U-turn on my switch into the Diancie, and as long as he doesn't have the Focus Sash here, I should be able to knock out the Bisharp, which thankfully it's not Focus Sash. I was actually so scared that it was going to be Focus Sash, but it didn't turn out to be Sashed, and now this should put me in a pretty good position to win this battle because all I need to do is get off one more Life Orb recoil damage on this Tapu Koko to put it in range of where even if Sludge Bomb from my Tangrowth doesn't knock it out, Tapu Koko will be knocked out by the Life Orb recoil. So he's going to go for the Life Orb hit, and then Sludge Bomb will knock him out because the minimum damage of Sludge Bomb to Tapu Koko is 62%. And thankfully, he ended up going for a hidden power there, maybe expecting me to switch out, and I'm able to chew the hit, and Diancie is going to pull out the final kill there. So yeah, very good game to Gandy again. Like, it honestly came down to that turn of me switching in to Diancie, predicting him to U-turn, because again, if he had stayed in and expecting me to switch into Diancie on the U-turn, then he easily would have been able to win the battle. So yeah, again, good game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to dynamic punch that like button down below if you did enjoy. Again, let me know what you guys think about Mega Diancie in the tier. How do you think it's going to affect OU in general? And with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow with P4G Week 8, that actual battle, and I did upload the team builder earlier today if you guys want to go check that out as well. So with all that being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow. So later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion, but when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears of hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.